Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى لا سيما المصطفى صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. My dear brothers and sisters, welcome to another live edition of your program Ask Huda. Our phone numbers beginning with area code are 002, then 0238 555 131 or 132, and the Facebook page is Dr. Muhammad Salah Official. And I assume that we're able to have live streaming on my Facebook page as well. Started receiving many questions, mashallah. We'll be happy to answer them in the same order they were received to the best of our ability, in addition to the pending questions as well. We have the first question is from one sister who says, I've been working since I got married, and since then it's been 12 years. I'm the only person who's supporting the family. Can I give my property to my children only? My husband never cared for me. Well, regardless of the support of the husband or any of the heirs, or fulfilling their duties or not fulfilling their duties, we want to speak about if somebody during his life wants to donate his entire wealth, to give it to anyone. Is it permissible? Versus if a person wants to write his wealth in the name of another person after his or her death, which would be called wasiyah. With regards to al-wasiyah, that in case if I die, then this person will get that much, this person will get that much. There are two conditions must be kept in mind. The first condition is that the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, لا وصية لوارث. You cannot write your bequest or a wish to give somebody any property or any part of your wealth, since he or she is actually one of the heirs. So to give an extra thing to a child, to a son, to a daughter, to any of the heirs is not permissible, because they have a set share that was decided for them by Allah the Almighty. The second condition is that it must be within 1/3. Like, can I write a wasiyah to my nephews and nieces? Yes, because they are not among the heirs. They are not among the heirs, because I do have children, I do have a spouse, I have parents, so even my brother is not among the heirs. Can I write a wasiyah for him? My bequest is to give him whatever, 25% of my wealth. It is permissible. Can I make it 35%? No, because the wasiyah should be within 1/3. What is the proof to that? The sound hadith of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, may Allah be pleased with him, who decided to give away all his wealth and yusi bimalih. So the Prophet ﷺ said, don't. He said, what about 2/3? He said, it's too much. He said, 1/2. He said, it's too much. He said, what about only 1/3? He said, الثلث والثلث كثير. Yes, it is okay to give 1/3 of your wealth as a wasiyah, to be given out of your wealth, out of your inheritance after you pass away. And it's still too much, okay? So if you limit yourself to 1/5, is perfect. And this is what Abu Bakr as-Siddiq chose for himself, similar to Al-Anfal. Otherwise, if you still give 1/3 a wasiyah, it is permissible, provided the wasiyah is to somebody who's not amongst the heir. So now, if you want to write a wasiyah to your sons and daughters, so this way that your husband will get nothing of the share of the inheritance, that is invalid. Regardless whether the husband was working or not working, supporting or not supporting, caring or not caring, because he is one of the heirs. He actually gets 1/4 of the inheritance, because you do have children. So this 1/4 of his is his right. As if he were to die first, you get 1/8 because you have children. Okay, this is what Allah the Almighty stated in Surah An-Nisa. In your life, if you want to distribute your wealth and you give whomever, that is fine, provided it is not an intention to deprive one of the heirs of his or her share of the inheritance. Barakallahu fiki, sister, and I avoided mentioning the name. Sister Sally Ahmad says, what is the ruling of finding money in the streets, in a cap or a nearby mosque, knowing that one doesn't come in this area often and it is probably impossible to find the owner? Are we allowed to just give it as a charity on behalf of the owner? That is called luqata. Al-luqata is the items which are lost and found by another person. We don't deal with the luqata all the same, because sometimes it's something valuable. A woman lost her necklace, lost her earrings, or her gold watch, something valuable. It must be defined and recognized. It must be announced for a whole year, such as posting an ad, announcing somehow. You said it's nearby a shop or a masjid, you announce, you post an ad. If anyone lost something valuable, it's here, or contact this number. Okay, I remember 20 years ago, I found like $1,000 in one of the streets in Brooklyn, in New York City. And I'll continue the story after this call. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Luqman from Singapore.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam. Welcome to the program, Luqman.
How are you, Sheikh?
Doing fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking.
All right. I have 5 questions.
Yeah?
Okay. The first one I asked before, but I just want to confirm about the tax return from the government. What if the tax return is more than the tax I paid to the government? Is it okay for me to use the tax return more than I have paid? Okay, the second question
No, still the first question I didn't get it. You're talking about tax return?
Yeah, tax return from the government.
Yeah?
Let's say I paid $200 for this year, but the government returned me $300.
Okay,
So
enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Or I'm okay to use the $100 extra?
Yes, it is perfectly okay. No problem.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Okay, the second question is, for a person who has urine incontinence, I need to make wudu after the adhan. And then, can I touch the mushaf between the time, let's say for Zuhr and Asr, even if I break my wudu?
Okay. Second
Okay,
question.
The second question is, if I pray Isha, and is my wudu from Isha till midnight? Yeah, that, or is it from Isha till Fajr? That I can maintain. Okay. The third question is, for if there is an old Quran which has torn pages, or any Islamic books that has some ayat from the Quran or the name of Allah in it, how can I dispose it correctly? Because is it burn it and
Okay.
or shred it into small pieces? Yeah.
Okay. Next.
And I also want to know, after burning it, where do I throw the ashes?
Okay.
Okay. The fourth one is, okay, about sujud sahw. Are there any prescribed adhkar for sujud sahw, or is it the same? Subhana Rabbiyal A'la, and for the sitting in between two prostrations?
Okay. Thank you, Brother Luqman. Inshallah, I've got 5 questions. I did answer the first one. Brothers and sisters, if the government gives you a tax return, any amount, as long as it is legal, I mean there is no error in it, enjoy it. It happens, the government normally do not make mistakes in tax return. They make mistakes in counting your taxes and charging people taxes. They overestimate sometimes. But to give a tax return, they're very accurate in this regard. Sometimes they give you a tax return which is more than what you paid because your income is very humble versus the number of your liabilities. You have children, you have many children, and your salary is low, so they calculate it based on that. They can end up giving you more than what you paid because the tax they charge you is not only the income tax. There are many forms of taxes. Sales tax, tax on almost everything, on utilities, on the bills, and so on. So that is halal. You're not stealing anything. Enjoy it. In the case of urine incontinence, if somebody is having urine incontinence, to pray, make wudu for each prayer after the adhan has been called. And you can pray with this wudu, this fard prayer, and all the relating nawafil, the sunan before and after, perfectly fine, until the time of the next prayer. You need to make a new wudu, you wash your private, and you make a new wudu. Okay. So what about touching the mushaf in between and reading the Quran? Well, according to the more right view, to touch the mushaf, to hold the Quran, you need wudu, right? In the case of urine incontinence, that applies to touching the Quran too. So enjoy reading the Quran and touching the Quran with bare hands because it is something that you're doing as nafila. Only you're required to make a new wudu due to urine incontinence whenever the next prayer is due and after the adhan has been called or the time is due. The third question is also relating to the wudu for Isha is extended in the case of a person who is afflicted with urine incontinence until midnight or until Isha, until Fajr. It is extended until dawn, until Fajr. I have mentioned repeatedly before that there is a difference of opinion with regards to what is the latest time for Isha. Is it midnight or is it or is the time extended until dawn? And the more right view, and according to the Sunnah Hadith, it is midnight. But you don't have to make another wudu if you're praying tahajjud and you're maintaining your wudu. It is only the problem of the urine incontinence. You can keep praying tahajjud, okay, even though you are experiencing the incontinence of the urine until Fajr. Then you gotta make a new wudu for the next prayer. How do you do with the old copies of the Quran which are torn apart, or pages which are torn of the Quran, pages and papers which have Quranic verses? Burn them. Burn them. What do you do with the ashes? The ashes do not have anything. If they are put in water, then they are disposed anywhere. There is no problem with that. What do we recite in sujood sahw? If you forgot anything in the prayer, you got to do 2 prostrations by the end. Besides, if it is something that a pillar or a fard in the prayer that you have forgotten, you have to make it up. But if it is a sunnah, like in the case of forgetting the middle tashahud, for instance, you don't have to make it up. You just skip it and you do 2 prostrations by the end of the prayer, which are known as sajdatay as-sahw, because there are 2. That's dual. Sajdatay as-sahw. What do you recite while in sujood as-sahw? You recite the same supplications that you recite in the regular sujood. Subhana Rabbiyal A'la, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Okay? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Saba from the KSA.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, sister?
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair, brother. I have a question regarding my husband. I want to know, how do I respond, how do I react when my husband, he carries on casual conversations, funny conversations with non-mahram women. Most of them, they're single women, whether they are Muslim or non-Muslim. Some of these ladies, they are people who I know. He talks about his life, his job, how he feels. And then later on, when I meet these women, they tell me how sweet and how compassionate your husband is. He talks to me about all kinds of things, and I feel very,
Jealous?
I feel very bad. I feel very angry when I hear this from other women. And he would not like it if I was one of those women talking to a non-mahram man. And so I don't understand how he can carry on a conversation, a casual conversation. And I have this I talk to him all the time about this. And he says that it's okay for him because he's a man, and he understands to have 4 wives. It's okay for him because he can have 4 wives. Although it's not his intention to marry these women, they're just people like the dentist, like the person in the store. He's not going to marry these women, and it's not okay for me. So although I don't do it anyways, I don't like when he does it. And he just gives me excuses all the time. He tells me I'm just being jealous, I'm overreacting, but I'm not, because he should think as me like I'm his own sister. He wouldn't like it for his sister or his own daughter.
I got your point, Sister Sabah. Thank you so much. Jazakallahu khairan. Yesterday and day before yesterday, we had a similar question, but in brief. It was about the drawing the line whenever it comes to conversing with the opposite gender. What is allowed and what is not allowed. I guess I need to put some emphasis on that after this call, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Muhammad from Ethiopia. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, Brother Muhammad?
Hello.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. How are you?
Doing fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking.
I want to ask a personal question.
Yeah?
I want to ask personally, I want to pray at mosque. I want to pray mosque permanently. But using my natural problem, some personal disease from smelling or whatever, some disturbs others. This is a special case to me.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
It really disturb others when I go to mosque. When I'm to mosque, maybe it disturb others. So I want to pray at home.
Okay.
I need to pray at mosque by my heart. Personally, with some disease problem, some natural, some bad, I don't know what I can say. I'm very disturbed with my disease. Personal smell arrive for others when I go to mosque. So.
Okay, I got your question, Brother Muhammad. I guess I kind of understood what you meant. I want to go back to Sister Sabah's question. Sister Sabah, thank you for presenting the question eloquently. May Allah bless you and your family. May Allah guide me, your husband, and you, and all the viewers to what is best. What are the guidelines and the the rules and regulations concerning conversing with the opposite gender? For me, talking to a woman who is neither my wife, my sister, my mother, my daughter, is not a woman who is a family member whom I'm not allowed to marry forever. So I'm not her mahram. You see the way I'm talking to you right now? This is the way we should be talking to each other. Like if I'm speaking in front of her husband, and in front of her parents, and in front of my wife, and in public, before people who are all concerned, how are you going to talk? Are you going to say, oh, I love your pants, they're very tight? And are you going to say that? No, you can't dare to say that. Are you going to compliment her body? Are you going to compliment her makeup in front of her husband? No, I don't think so. So this is haram. الاسم ما حاك في النفس وتردد في الصدر وخشيت أن يطلع عليه الناس. Sometimes we give people the benefit of doubt, as the Prophet ﷺ said. Sometimes you're confused. You don't know what is really lawful and what is not lawful. Okay, what about this? You feel bad about it in your heart after you do it? Oh no, I'm perfectly okay. Skip this. You don't blame yourself whatsoever? Yeah, everybody does it. Can you do that in public? Can you do it before your wife? Can you talk to her the same way in front of her husband? Oh, I doubt. Then it's haram. Then this is haram. The Prophet ﷺ have utilized this approach to guide a young man who came to ask the Prophet ﷺ for a permission to resume committing fornication. Before Islam, it was, perfectly legal for a man to have a girlfriend and for a woman to hang around with other men, even multiple men simultaneously. It was common. It was Jahiliyyah. So this man came and he said, "O Prophet of Allah, please allow me to have outside marriage relationship. Permit me to commit adultery." I can imagine if I was there, what would be the stance of the companions, how angry they would be with him, and this one wants to beat him and this one wants to throw him out of the masjid. But the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, approached as follows. He said, "Do you accept it to your wife, to your sister, to your mother, to your aunt, to your daughter?" One after another, and each time he said, "No, no, no." I mean, would it be okay for you to let your wife have a relationship with another man? He said, "No." Would it be okay to let your mother, your daughter, your sister, your aunt? No, no, no. He said similarly, people do not accept it for their sisters, for their daughters, for their wives, for their mothers. And everyone, every woman is a sister of another man, or a mother of another man, or a wife, or a daughter. وَكَذَلِكَ النَّاسُ لَا يَرْضَوْنَهُمْ. Similarly, people will not accept it for their women. Right? This is a logical approach. So I'm addressing your husband. Please fear Allah the Almighty concerning your wife and concerning other people's wives, daughters, sisters, mothers. The ayah says, and also the ayah addresses women because they're the source of attraction. They are the source of attraction. When a woman is an honorable and a noble, is a respected woman, and she finds a man who is kind of funny, and he's trying to drag on the conversation with her, and she is kind of stiff. She's kind of, limiting herself and answers to the question, and she doesn't speak softly. She doesn't laugh with this loud laugh, expressing her consent and agreement to what he says. Rather, she is polite. In this case, she stops him. He would realize that I'm at fault, or this woman is not like one of those women. Allah the Almighty said in Surah Al-Ahzab, فَلَا تَخْضَعْنَ بِالْقَوْلِ فَيَطْمَعَ الَّذِي فِي قَلْبِهِ مَرَض. Not all people are the same. Some people are sick. Some people fantasize and they love married women. Some people fantasize about older women, younger women, and so on. So you never know. Maybe they're sick. But whenever you are being polite, religiously committed, like somebody was asking the Sheikh a question right now. How do you like the way she's presenting the question? Or any sister was presenting the question. Okay? Once I was making a call. It was to one of these telecommunications companies. And while on hold, the customer service was a woman, and she started chatting with me. I said, excuse me, this is personal. I mean, now you are, you're exceeding the limit, and you are asking me about personal questions. She said, I'm sorry, I thought we can just enjoy the conversation by the time the system is doing whatever. I said, I don't think so. So when a woman does the same with a man who's trying to drag the conversation with her, she stops him, and he would not try that with her anymore. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Abdul Qadir from Ethiopia. I understand that you've been waiting for a while. Please try again. No problem, Brother Abdul Qadir. Brother Ahmed from Libya.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Muhammad.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the program, brother.
How are you, Sheikh?
Doing fine, alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah. Thank you for asking.
Sheikh, I have two questions for you, please.
Yeah? Go ahead.
My first question is, a sister in the Western, she was forced to marry a man whom she never loved. So she escaped from the man. Now we consulted a case that she had to divorce the man before she can get married to the next man. Now I am asking, what is she supposed to do now? She is she's not more with her husband now. So she is outside the country. Can her parents stand in to divorce the man on his behalf, please?
I guess you're asking about if a woman can divorce her man for whatever reason, but tell you the truth, the sound was not clear at all. So may I ask the brother on the control to collect his question and pass it on to me during the break? I will appreciate that. Thank you. Jazakallah khairan. Brothers and sisters, we'll take a short break and we'll be back inshallah in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
Really come to understand that to be a Muslim, to be someone who says they've surrendered and submitted to the will of God, is to be in harmony with everything around you and to be a benefit to it.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our Creator, He gave us a life plan. He told us what to do. He gave us, goals and what He expects from us.
It has roots in Islam because the first man who was created, Adam, he was neither a Jew or a Christian, but he submitted himself to God. Abraham, he didn't submit to anyone in creation. He didn't even hear in any of these religions. But when he was told to do what? Submit to the will of God. That's Islam.
Attached to his preconceived notions.
Yes.
And if he looks with an objective eye and an open heart, he'll see it. Unless Allah for some reason has something over his eyes because of something that we don't know is in his heart.
You had from 1980 to 2005, you had the FBI data report showing that now from all these years that only 6% had any links to Islam. 94% were people who had nothing to do with Islam.
This is the Deen Show. This is the Deen Show.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, dear viewers, to another episode of Let's Talk on your favorite station, Huda TV. I'm your host, Yusuf Korma, and today we'll be talking about the very crucial topic of maintaining trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
You have someone who's a perpetrator in your family, you could encourage him to go to therapy, to seek help from others, like adults in the family, who are trusted and they have trusted opinions and they could help them get out of this.
So it's not sufficient for a person to utter the words of tawakkul, but in reality he doesn't really feel tawakkul in his heart.
If a wife lost a husband, then it was to the son to decide whether she can get married again or not. So it was pretty much just the men controlling the thing. So when Islam came, it kind of gave the rights and gave the explanation of the word family.
How did he treat his daughters when they were in a younger age? And I found that there's not hardly anything reported about it.
Many people judge Islam based on what the Muslims do. The fact is, Islam is perfect, but the Muslims are not. However, it is not hard for us to implement, and there are ways for us to be the ideal Muslims. Join me, Dr. Rayan Arab, in this new program, The Ideal Muslim, so that we could discover the ways of how we could be ideal Muslims.
حامنا ودين حامنا ودين
ماء الحسنى فادعوه بها وذروا الذين يلحدون في أسمائه سيجزون ما كانوا يعملون.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إن لله 99 اسما 100 إلا واحدة من أحصاها دخل الجنة.
يا خالقنا غفرانا نسألك وأنت الأسمى يا خالقنا.
Al-Khaliq, the Creator. He is Allah, the Creator. He created everything from nothing and decreed everything's destiny. He is the Creator who made all created things from nothing, and He decreed for them unending. He is the Creator. He created the sun and the moon, the earth and the sky, water and air, human beings and animals, plants and insects, light and fire, seas and rivers, night and day. Oh, how glorious is He!
الله خالق كل شيء وهو على كل شيء وكيل.
How glorious you are! You are the Creator, the Great. Everything, no matter how big or small it is from your creation. You have created the angels, the animals, the wind, light and darkness. Oh, how you are capable of all things. Everything is in need of you, and everything is easy for you. You need nothing. You are the Creator, the All-Powerful and the Almighty. You perfected your creation. You return what you created. You resurrect it, and you remake it. And if you wished, you would create a new creation.
صنع الله الذي أتقن كل شيء إنه خبير بما تفعلون.
How glorious you are, Allah the most glorious. All of the creation belongs to you. You deserve to be obeyed alone and to receive full submission from your creation. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "There is no obedience to the creation in the disobedience to the Creator." O Allah, you have created us, and you know what benefits us and what harms us. O Allah, guide us to the best of manners, because no one guides to anything better than you, and keep us away from harms, because no one will save us except you.
يا خالقنا غفرانا نسألك وأنت الأسمى يا خالقنا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Very interesting question I got from Agabad Jama. The questioner says, because I can't tell whether it's he or she, he says, he or she, I give charity to that restores eyesight for the poor. The beneficiaries are both Muslims and non-Muslims. Some people say that I should only give to Muslims, otherwise my charity won't be accepted and I will not get the reward. Is this the case? No, of course this is not the case. As long as the charity is a voluntary charity, you can give it to Muslims, to non-Muslims, to family members, to people who are not related to you, whatsoever. And in this case, you will be rewarded for your charity. Even if you are assisting non-Muslims to recover, to be treated, to restore their eyesight, it is only the zakah, the mandatory zakah, which should be dispensed amongst Muslims, according to ayah number 60, chapter number 9, Surah At-Tawbah, إِنَّمَا الصَّدَقَاتُ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ وَالْمَسَاكِينِ. But you're giving extra charity, voluntary charity, you're supporting people to be treated, free clinics, anywhere, Muslims and non-Muslims. And I remember once we held a clinic in Burundi, very poor country, free clinic. And we've been working all day from morning till dark, subhanallah. And some would come and ask, do I have to be Muslim to be treated, because you're offering a free checkup and free medications? So I assured the people, mainly women, I say, you don't have to be Muslim whatsoever. You know, this treatment and this service is for us as Muslims. We're doing it for the sake of Allah, to help humanity. So whether Muslims or non-Muslims, we can assist. Allah the Almighty said in Surah Al-Insan, وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا إِنَّا نَخَافُ مِنْ رَبِّنَا يَوْمًا عَبُوسًا قَمْطَرِيرًا. The ayat, Allah the Almighty admires the believers who help feeding the poor, the orphans, the masakin, and the captives, the prisoners of war. Prisoners of war, not only they're non-Muslims, but they came to fight against us. Now they are prisoners of war. So Allah admires us for feeding them, for looking after them. And the following ayah says that those who do that, they help the poor, the orphans, and the captives, they do that for the sake of Allah. Innama, exclusively. We only do that. We only feed you for the sake of Allah, seeking His countenance. لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. We're not doing that expecting any compensation, reward, or gratitude from you. We're only doing this for the sake of Allah. Okay? We have also Muhammad from Ethiopia, who said that he has a personal case, a personal reason that is preventing him from praying in the masjid and congregation. Can he pray at home instead? I didn't ask him about the personal excuse, but I will give you an example. And then, by analogy, you can measure your case accordingly. Some people, you know, after having certain surgeries, they cannot control breaking wind. And it may be very embarrassing and offensive to others. They don't have any control. It smells and it's embarrassing. So this way, it gives him a legitimate reason to skip praying in congregation in the masjid, not to embarrass himself, and also people do not know his conditions, and not to offend others. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you happen to eat fresh garlic and onions, then you should not attend the prayer with us in the masjid, because the angels get offended from whatever offends human being. Some people, after having an operation, they carry a sack for excretion. They don't do the normal excretion like others. So constantly there is an offensive smell. Maybe somebody next door or by him is praying, doesn't know what is going on. So he may embarrass him once, twice, and several times. So in this case, you can pray at home, and may Allah reward you for that. If any person happened to interrupt a good deed that he used to do on a regular basis because of a necessity or because of an emergency or something that popped up, then his reward is continuous. So if somebody used to fast and now due to sickness he cannot fast anymore, voluntary fasting, he still gets the same reward even though he cannot fast. Somebody who is very regular in attending the prayer in the masjid, going back and forth, now he's handicapped, now he has an excuse, a valid reason that he cannot attend the prayer in the masjid, he still gets the same reward, inshaAllah. Brother Muhammad from Libya had two questions. The brothers collected his questions, mashallah. The first is about a woman who sought divorce from her husband and she's already out of the country. Can somebody else of her family members, a father or a brother, resume the divorce case and follow up by proxy? One thing that you need to understand, that the one who gives divorce is the husband. So you may ask for divorce, but if he doesn't give you divorce, you are not divorced. And in order to present a case before the judge in the court to say that the man is not giving me my rights, you gotta be there. If you appoint somebody and the judge is convinced and you have enough evidences and he gives you fasakh, separation, that is active, that is valid. But if you're asking me that can somebody carry on your process of divorce, you don't do anything active in divorce other than asking for it. So I'm not sure exactly what you meant by a woman who's abroad and appoints or asks somebody else to work on getting her divorced. He also asked about the nisab of zakah in US currency. Well, in any currency, the nisab of the zakah is either 85 grams of gold or 595 grams of silver. Either one. The lesser is better for the poor. What does it mean? It means if I happen to possess certain amount of money for one complete lunar year, in the beginning of Rabi' al-Thani, this month, or in the middle, I earned 4 grands. I have $4,000. I kept them in my pocket until next year around the same time, middle of Rabi' al-Thani, lunar calendar. Then I must pay zakah on that. Why? Because As we're speaking right now, 1 gram of gold, 24 karat, worth approximately $39 US. So we're talking about 85 gram of gold worth 3,300, almost, more or less. So 3,300, maybe $20. That means this is the nisab, or this is the value of the nisab. It fluctuates though, depending on the currency and depending on today's value of gold. So the measurement, what will determine whether your wealth, your saving, your investment, or your capital sum, or your goods which are prepared for sale, zakatable or not, is the value as of today. On the day after 1 complete year, lunar year, have passed. Oh, you check how much you have. I have some saving which worth 3,000 US dollar. You don't have to give zakah. Why? Because the value is lesser than the value of 85 gram of gold. Maybe if it is the value of 595 gram of silver, then you pay zakah on the accordingly. We've got one question I received a few minutes ago on the page. I understand that the live streaming is interrupted because of the poor connection and there is a sound problem, and inshallah our brothers, the technicians, will work on fixing this problem in the future. But we thought this way the live streaming on my page will give an access to the viewers who don't have an access to a satellite TV, and they can see the application on their phones, on their computers, anywhere, inshallah. And those who cannot reach us through direct calls or cannot afford it, they can deliver their questions in writing to my page. The page again is Dr. Muhammad Salah Official. So the question of Amran Hussein is, how can jinn enters someone, and what is the treatment for that? You're talking about a very long process to answer this question. We gotta learn about the jinn, the nature, and their how do they live, how do they function. But in brief, there is an ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah in which Allah the Almighty says, الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون إلا كما يقوم الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس. So the ayah is addressing the fate and the punishment of a person who deals with usury, with interest. This person on the day of judgment will be resurrected and will be frightened and will be imbalanced, like a person who's possessed with the jinn, possessed with Satan. يَتَخَبَّطُهُ الشَّيْطَانُ مِنَ الْمَسِّ. This ayah has been used as a reference, besides the prohibition of riba, is used as a reference to indicate that Satan's possessing the bodies of human beings is possible, and it happens. So why and how? It happens for many reasons. It happens if the person is not regular in reciting his adhkar, which function as an armor, as a shield and protection for the believer. A person who enters the bathroom and forgets to seek refuge with Allah against Satan. A person who is involved in sins, so he's an easy hunt for Satan and for the evil non-believing jinn. How does this happen? Well, Allah the Almighty says, إِنَّهُ يَرَاكُمْ هُوَ وَقَبِيلُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا تَرَوْنَهُمْ. You see, you can see me, I cannot see you, because you're seeing the screen. Okay. Now, Allah the Almighty says, Satan and the jinn can see you where you cannot see them. Why? Because their nature is different. Their nature is different. They're created from a completely different source than us. They're created from fire. We're created from mud. Our nature is different. So when they possess that person, they possess the body, the person may end up doing things that he did not intend to do, and forgets that he have done things which he have done it. And he will behave weirdly. Why? Because he is not being himself. That's why during the process of exorcism, driving the evil spirits, driving Satan's and the evil jinn out of the body of the human being. There are different methods, but during this method, the person may speak, but on his or her tongue is a different sound. It is the sound of the jinn who's possessing this person. Many times, whenever a person who is an exorcist is trying to drive out the evil jinn, and he recites Quran and Ayatul Kursi and these ayat which frighten the jinn. So he says, please stop and I will leave. It's a woman, but she is talking on her tongue and the sound is the sound of a man. It's a male jinn possessing the body. We don't understand the mechanism. We don't know how does it happen. But in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, إن الشيطان يجري من الدم من ابن آدم مجرى الدم من العروق. إن الشيطان يجري من ابن آدم مجرى الدم من العروق. You see, as I'm sitting, I'm talking right now, blood circulation is all over the body from head to toe. There is blood circulation, right? Non-stop. He said Satan and the jinn is constantly whispering to a human being and he is in his body and veins like blood in his veins, circulating non-stop, in order to warn us against forgetting your adhkar, forgetting to pray on time, because you will become an easy catch for Satan. So the how, I don't think anyone can describe how does the process of possessing the human being by the jinn takes place, but it happens. What we need to learn about is how to protect yourself. Prevention is better than cure. If you recite your adhkar on a regular basis, you recite your Quran, especially Surah Al-Baqarah, if you recite it at least once every 3 days at home, Satan can never enter your house, can never touch you or any of your family members. Ayatul Kursi, especially every night before going to sleep, in addition to after every further prayer, it is very, very important. So when you do so, you will be protected by Allah the Almighty. And if it happens for a reason or another, then the only legitimate way of exorcism is through reciting the Quran, particularly Surah Al-Baqarah, by a professional exorcist who will recite the Quran to drive the evil jinn out of the body. Brothers and sisters, it was indeed a pleasure to spend very precious time with you today, and until next episode I leave you all in the care of Allah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech.